guys, Colebello here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you 6 build hacks that you can use for your bathrooms in Bloxburg. Since my kitchen build hacks video did so well, which thank you for that by the way, I thought I would make a similar video, but this time with things you can add to your bathroom. These build hacks will require advanced placing and transform plus, so as long as you have those, then keep watching because I got a lot to share with you guys. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoy, and let's get started. We're going to start off with this custom shower, and we're just going to be making it in this little 2x2 space right here. So first you're going to resize some cubes to make the shelving in the back. It should be about this thickness, and then just take that all the way up to the ceiling. Then just make that a little bit thinner and then copy it on the right and the left. Now you should have 2 gaps that are about this size, so now you can copy this and fill the bottom and the top. Just make it about this high and then go all the way across. And finally you can copy this and make it a bit thinner to add 2 shelves. And then just make sure that these are pretty much equal distance in between each other and that you offset this a little bit in just for that dimension. And that is it for the shelving portion. Now I'm just adding in a modern shower set, and now we can make the glass out of some transparent cubes. You're just going to resize this as thin as it goes and as wide as you need to reach the edge of the shower. And then as you're moving this up, just make sure that you don't go all the way up to the ceiling because you don't want the person inside to suffocate, obviously, okay? We're being realistic. And then just copy this however you need. For this portion, since the shower's next to a vanity, I'm going to do a cube underneath the glass because you don't want there to be glass directly next to the vanity. But obviously, if your bathroom is a different layout, you can just do a full glass wall. And since you can't really make a functional door with a custom shower, I'm just leaving a gap here. So I recommend that you do that too if you want it to be usable. And the last step is just going to be adding the outline for the glass. And for that, we're going to use thin square beams. So it's just as simple as taking this and dragging it along the border. And you can make it a little bigger if you wish. And it's really hard to get everything looking perfect on the first try. So just go in with Transform Plus afterwards and adjust everything to make it look perfect. And now that the basic structure of the shower is done, we can add some last minute details. For starters, you can put some decorations on these little shelves, like some soap or some shampoo bottles. And you can also add in some custom tile decals to make it look even more realistic. For that, you're just going to take a transparent cube and size it down. And then I would recommend using this plain huge painting for all of your decals. Now I'm just adding in my decals. Here are the codes for these specific decals, but I have tons more in my Roblox inventory if you want to check them out. This is my username, and all you have to do is follow my profile to access my inventory. And now that you have your decals, you can just resize them and transform them as needed. And just a tip for this one, since the painting does cover up the shower handle, I would recommend just putting it on a cube and transforming it manually so that it doesn't cover it up. And that is it for this custom shower. On to the next one. Right next to here, we will be making this custom vanity. Now this one is very intricate, so if you want to see a more simple vanity, then skip ahead. But I think that the detail for this one is very much worth it because it looks so good. First, you're going to place one of these box sinks and then size a cube up to the edge of the sink. Then you're going to size this down pretty thin and size it across to the max width. And then push this up against the wall and place your 2 sinks up against it. Now you're going to take another cube on the thinnest width and start filling this area in to make the countertop. Once it looks something like this, take more cubes to make the front and side edges of the cabinets. And you might have to readjust the sinks if you realize that there's not enough space in the middle, so that is okay. For this middle shelf, you can just use a horizontal plank. And so far it should look something like this. Now you can copy this cube and make it a little shorter so that we can start making the cabinets. And we're going to make all of this with beams from the structural section. So you can start with outlining the sides of the cube. And then just make sure you transform it to make it look even. And then I just made this color slightly lighter with the slider so that you can add some contrast. Now to make the drawers, you're going to take the same thing and resize it to make it wider, like so. And now it's kind of just a guessing game to get a width that's going to be the same up and down and across. Now that these are looking nice and even, I'm going to make the handles with thin square beams. Just size these down, place 3 of them, and use Transform Plus to move them into place. This part is especially tedious, but just remember that it's going to be worth it in the end. So here's one side all complete, and don't mind the grass, it's a few days later and it's officially fall, so I decided to switch it up a little bit. And luckily, now that we've done one side, we can simply copy it for the other side so that we don't have to go through that again. And after a little bit of rearranging, this is how we're looking. Now all you have to do is add some decorations, add some mirrors, and then you've got yourself a pretty realistic looking vanity. Like I said, pretty tedious, but definitely worth it. For build hack number 3, I'm going to be making another vanity, but this one is more simple, more minimalist. So if the last one was too complicated for you, then you should definitely try this one instead. We're going to start with the same box sinks from the last one, but we're going to put them closer together because this one is 2 tiles wide instead of 3. Then you're going to take a cube, transform it slightly off the floor, and then resize it to the size of your vanity. Just going right underneath the sinks like this, and then slightly wider. Now you're going to take more cubes and fill in the spaces in between, in front, and to the sides of the sinks, but you want this top section to hang slightly over the edge of the bottom. Now that it looks something like this, you can make the top part a solid color, and then the bottom part wood. Lastly, you're going to resize a cube to the thinnest size, then get it to the height of this, and then you're just going to copy this over and over again to create the design under the vanity. Just make sure to leave a gap in the middle so that it essentially acts like 2 doors with one underneath each sink. And there you have it. That's a simple yet modern looking vanity. The next 2 build hacks are going to be some simple decorations that you can add to your bathroom, with the first being this bath mat. This one is very simple. All you have to do is start with a transparent cube and size it down, and then take this wooden palette from the decorations and place it on top. After that, you can size it down to the appropriate size of a bath mat. I would say about this size looks good, and then you can simply transform it into the ground until it's slightly sticking up, and when it's recolored, it looks like a simple, cute wooden bath mat. For the 5th build hack, we have this hanging plant, which you can basically put anywhere in your bathroom. You're going to start off with a square 2-sided decal, and then you can input your code. I'll be using this one, but I'll put a few options on the screen for you to choose. Now back in build mode, you're going to resize it to the size you want, And once it looks good, you're going to put on a transparent cube. And the key to making these look realistic is copying it and rotating it the other way so it gives this 3D effect. Because obviously if it's just one picture, it's going to look very flat. But if you have two, you can basically look at it from any angle and it's going to be facing you. And then now you're going to find the cube that has both of them and then transform it up. And again, this is great above a bathtub, next to the shower, really anywhere. But since it is hanging, you want to put it up pretty high. And then lastly, you can use this thin chain from the structural section to connect it to the ceiling. And now, if you just pretend that there's a ceiling there, you have a very cute hanging plant. For our sixth and final build hack, we're going to make this vanity light fixture. So like a lot of these, you're going to start off with a transparent cube. And to make it easier, you're going to want to resize this specifically to 0.95 by 0.95 by 1.75. Now you're going to take another transparent cube and size this down to the smallest. And then on top of that, place a light box and size this down to the smallest width and about that height. Now recolor this before the yellow lighting drives you insane, and then just put this in the middle of the bottom cube. So now that you have this basic shape, you're going to create the grid pattern with some thin square beams. Now the reason I had you resize it to that specific size is so that you can just place these beams directly across and it's going to line up perfectly. As you can see, they're all evenly spaced, no need for transform plus, it's literally perfect. And now you just have to do that all the way across. And now just do a similar thing going across. For this one, you will have to use Transform Plus to evenly space them out, but it shouldn't be too hard. And now that this is finished, the hard part is over and we're going to set it aside to make the connector to the wall. I'm just going to make this with some cubes and feel free to follow along. Now that this is made, I'm going to add a little rod to the top of this to connect it to that. And now you can just copy this and move it up. And that is the finished light fixture. I love how detailed and neat this looks. I think it's perfect for really any style. Alright guys, if you made it to the end of the video, then thank you so much for watching. Your support really means a lot to me. If you want to see the full speed builds for any of the builds in this video, then they're on my channel, so definitely go check them out. And make sure to follow my TikTok and Instagram. I'm more active on there, so if you want some sneak peeks, some exclusive content, then that's the place to be. Other than that, stay tuned for the fall content because it's coming very soon. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!